All right, we are going to jump right into our session 1 work and discuss what that looks like this week. I'm going to try to very clearly explain how all of our sessions work, and hopefully that will give you a better idea moving forward each week what you are expected to complete. So remember, before you start any work in any session, I want you to go to your Nash Community College student email account and read the email that I have sent you that corresponds to the particular session you're getting ready to start on. It's very important that you read those because I make sure to include some helpful tips and things like that that will help you understand better and also earn as many points as possible for each assignment. You will need to do the assigned reading first after reading my email. It's very important that you do the assigned reading first so you kind of have a general understanding of the content that you're going to experiment with throughout the lesson. So you'll notice that I don't always just throw out a chapter. Sometimes I give you particular sections of chapters. And this is basically because I was very careful in choosing the content within the book that applies to the expectations of the course. And so there may be things inside of the book that aren't necessarily required to learn inside of this course. And so I don't want to waste your time and make you read large portions of a chapter that don't necessarily apply to the course objectives. And so you may find that there are chapters in the book we don't touch. You may find that there are sections in the book that we don't go over. You're certainly welcome to review those if they are of interest to you. But I tried to be very selective in only covering the items that are within our course description. So for session 1, you will read a portion of chapter 1. So you'll start on page 9 at the theoretical frameworks for viewing marriage section, and you'll read through to page 24, and you'll stop once you finish reading the table 1.5. Then you will move into the session activities. If I were suggesting, I would read the email, I would do the assigned reading, I would watch Miss Guy's video, and then I would go into the journal. So the journal activities typically are going to have an additional video to view, and then have some review questions, and that's just going to kind of like start off the concept of the session. And then I would jump into the session 1 lecture notes. You are welcome to watch the lecture videos and then do the notes, or you can do the notes as you're watching the lecture videos. It's totally up to you, depending upon your comfort level. You will see there are sometimes I will do the actual lecture, and then there are other times that you will pull that information from your textbooks, or you'll watch another video source. So you don't be concerned that you're going to have to hear my voice constantly throughout the whole semester. Once you are finished with the lecture notes, remember that they have to be done electronically. I don't leave you a lot of space to print them out and handwrite them. So it's small spaces, and that's so when you're typing, it kind of expands on its own. Also remember, this is a college level course, and so those notes need to look like a college student completed them. Don't just throw in a couple of words. It actually needs to be content heavy notes, and you'll submit them for a grade. And then once you're done with the lecture notes, you'll have a writing activity. This week's writing activity talks about personal attitudes towards marriage. So you will find that I am not the sociology instructor that is going to shove anything on your way of thinking. I'm simply going to present you with information and then ask you guiding questions that will ask you to reflect and make decisions about the content. So I certainly don't want you to think any particular way. I want to provide you with information and then guide your thinking based upon the information that you have interacted with. And so that's kind of where that marriage, attitude towards marriage writing activity comes in, and you'll see that every week. So that's the basis of the session. If you have any questions about how any of that works, please reach out to me in an email and I'll be happy to explain further. Remember that session 1 opens each Friday. This session opened today, which is August the 20th, but each new session will open each Friday following that, and then it will not be due until the following Tuesday. So session 1 is going to be due August the 31st, and remember, it's no later than 11:55 p.m., which means everything cuts off at 11:55 p.m. You have to have it in prior to that, so don't wait until the last minute. Make sure that you're utilizing your time management and you're planning to get everything complete well before the deadline. So if you have issues or technology issues or your internet goes out, you're not missing a deadline. All right, so we reviewed this in session 0, but I want to review for you just real quick, because this understanding of the 3 main theories of sociology is going to be something that we look at every single session. And so just as a reminder, here's some symbols. Here are some images that will help you kind of relate to that. So we see the 3 main theories: structural functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. And we are going to review these really quick. So the main idea of structural functionalism is that society as a whole is made up of interrelated parts that work together, and they work together for the smooth functioning of society. So in this theory, society is viewed as a living, functioning organism. Each part of that organism has a role or a function. And when one part doesn't work like it should, then society doesn't function smoothly. And so that's how we're going to look at the family unit and marriage and the family structure for this particular session. And then we move into conflict theory. So conflict theory focuses on that struggle, that fight for resources by groups within society. And these groups are continuously competing for resources, and they're struggling to gain more power. And that group that has the most resources will gain the most power. And then the group that has the most power will likely keep control of the power. And so this, again, creates that cycle of conflict where groups are struggling for resources. And remember, we discussed the power elite, or the top 1% of society, and that is typically where the control is maintained. And so this conflict cycle is what conflict theorists apply to the inequalities that exist in our society. And then we move on to symbolic interactionism, which is more of that individualized approach. So the central idea of symbolic interactionism is that symbols, or things that we attach meaning to, are key to understanding how we view the world and how we communicate with each other. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about in session 1 is the meaning of marriage and what that means to different people and how that meaning of marriage has changed over time. Sociologists use symbolic interactionism to analyze how social life depends on the way that we define ourselves and how we define others. And remember, this is a micro-level analysis. So that means it is different for each individual. The other 2 theories are macro, which means it looks at large-scale society. So symbolic interactionism is micro, which means it looks at the individual. So I hope that was a good review. Please let me know if you have additional questions about working through session 1. I'm always here to help you.